Morning, it's Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42. It's Tuesday, April 24th. My plan was I was going to do a video yesterday, and once again, I woke up with just a nasty sinus headache. Spring and fall. The change in weather from cool nights to warm days to cool nights, and my head explodes. And that's the way it felt yesterday. I did all my usual things to try to get rid of it. Nothing worked. But I woke up this morning and my face doesn't hurt. So here I am. How are you today? The last couple of videos, I have wanted to mention some people that I have been watching here recently and been just spaced doing that. So I actually have my notebook in front of me today, and I have 3 pages of people that I've been watching, but I'm not going to list all of them because, like Michelle says, you list that many people, it kind of gets lost. So I've chosen just a couple, and I'm going to try to remember to do this on a regular basis because I think we should all be doing videos and sharing what we're doing and getting to know each other. And that's what these people have done too. And not all of them are new. They're new to me. So at the last Pacific Northwest Stitchers meetup at the beginning of April, Darlene Baumgarten was talking about Shelley Kane, and she said that she may be coming to our next meetup, and she has a Flosstube page. She is Shelley keyxstitch. So I went and checked her out because obviously if somebody's going to be coming up to the meetup, I would kind of like to know a little bit about them ahead of time. It's not necessary to know a little bit about them ahead of time, but feel like you're meeting a friend when you walk in. So anyway, check her out. I had mentioned her, I think my last video or the video previously, I talked about a lady who had told me it was National Unicorn Day on April 9th, which was my daughter and son-in-law's anniversary. That was Glenn, Southern Stitcher. And again, check her out. She's got several videos. But yeah, she's fun. And the Kitchen Stitchers. Lisa, Crystal, and Arlene. The energy between those three, I love it. Just absolutely love it. I would watch them if nothing for no other reason is just because of their energy. And then Luhu Stitches. Cindy Young. She lives down in Northern California, so she's right below the Oregon border. And she chose her name, Luhu Stitches, because of the Grinch. Her name is Cindy. And in the Grinch, there was Cindy Lou Who. So she's Luhu Stitches. How can you not love that? Anyway, check her out. So those are the people that I wanted to mention that I have seen here recently. I think Cindy, Luhu Stitches, I think I caught her very first video. The other 3, they've all done more than one. But they were new to me, or they were new to me when I wrote down my 3 pages worth of people to mention. I keep my notebook next to my chair, and in here I have notes from previous videos, things that I want to talk about. I have patterns. I have people that I want to mention. It's all in here. And this thing gets lost around the house. It's either on the kitchen or it's on the stool or it's somewhere else. I leave it in Mark's office, and God knows you don't want to leave things in Mark's office because that's just a bottomless pit of despair sometimes. He has the office in his shop, and I have no say over how things look in there. The rest of the house is mine. And he has to keep my part of the house clean, which is why I will never show you the inside of Mark's office. Yeah. So, I have been working on my elegant squid, and I will show that to you in just a moment. Again, when I was watching Flosstube, I came across somebody, and I've seen a couple of her videos before, but she kind of made me stop and go back and watch a couple more of them. Her name is Vikki StitchNButton. And I'm watching her video one morning, and she mentions me. Donna Ray has said it. I know other people have said it. I know I've said it before too. When somebody mentions your name in their video, it's just like, wow, somebody really does watch me. I know that there's people watching these videos because you're leaving comments, and I love, love, love the comments. But still, to hear your name mentioned on someone else's video, it's just like, wow, wow. So anyway, thank you so much for mentioning me. I really appreciate that. The funny thing is 2 days later, I got some mail. My husband went out, and he comes in and he hands me the small package. And I'm thinking, I haven't ordered anything. So I open it up, and here's an envelope with a seahorse and some starfish. Okay. And a Betty Boop card. I love Betty Boop. My daughter Erin, there is like 3 or 4 girls that she's been friends with since high school. And one of them was getting married, Roxy. And the other girls were all part of her wedding party. And Monique, who is a beautiful young lady, and she's one of these young ladies who doesn't think that she is pretty herself. And she should. Mark and I were doing the photography for the wedding. Mark was doing all the stuff out in the church. I was doing the behind the scenes stuff in the bridal quarters. And she was in the process of getting dressed, and she was wearing a black bustier and black boy cut shorts, and she struck a pose, and she looked like Betty Boop. In my opinion, it is one of the best photos I have ever taken of someone else. And I gave her a copy of it, and I gave Roxy a copy of it. I didn't put it in their album because this was a personal picture. There was nothing indecent about it. This was a beautiful young lady who was more covered than somebody who's wearing a bikini on the beach. But the pose she struck was totally, totally Betty Boop. And I love Betty Boop. But anyway, Vikki sent me this card. And in this card was a little present. She sent me a squid. So obviously, she sent it because I'm working on my ink circles, elegant squid. And I'm halfway done. I'm working on the 3rd squid here. Mark comes walking in, and he goes, "So what'd you get in the little package?" And I showed him, and he goes, "Oh, Squidly." Now, it's funny because I had referred to it as Squidly before he came in the house. It just goes to show you how well my husband knows me. Technically, it's a Kraken. It's one of the needleminders that she makes and sells in her shop. But it's Squidly. Thank you, Vikki. I love it. I had a start and a finish. In fact, the finish happened yesterday. But before I show you that, I have to show you what it sits in. And maybe tell you a story? I don't know. A while back I said, I collect cauldrons. Last year, probably a little bit earlier than this time of the year, Mark's mom did an estate sale for one of the guys that Mark works with. This gentleman's mom had passed, and he and his adult siblings decided that they were going to have an estate sale to get rid of some of the things that she had. Mark's mom has done estate sales for years. She's really, really good at it, and it took weeks to get things set up and organized, going through grouping things together, pricing things together. She had Mark helping her, getting prices off the internet for some of the larger items, making signs for it, helping to prep the place. And when he was over there one day, he sent me this picture of a cauldron. It was a planter this lady had had out on her patio, and he wanted to know if I wanted it. And I looked at it, and at first I thought, no, I don't. And then I thought, no, wait a second. Yeah, I do. So he brought this cauldron home, and it's a nice size cauldron. But it was, it'd been outside, so it had some patina on it, and it was full of dirts and rocks, and I emptied it out and cleaned it up a bit, and then I had it sitting on my front porch from whenever I got it until here recently. And when I said I wanted to use one of my cauldrons to put some pillows in, I thought, well, I need to go out and get this cleaned up. So I went and asked Mark what to do because, he fixes things, he restores things, he cleans things, he's got all the tools. Yeah. So I went out and he gave me one of his drill motors with a wire brush, and I started cleaning the inside of this cauldron. And as I was doing so, the paint in there started flaking away a lot. And what I was left with was this really cool, bronzy, coppery, patinaed metal. So I cleaned up the inside of it, and then I went to work on the outside of it. Not so much on the sides of the outside of it, but on the bottom of it, because it had that same paint. And again, the same thing. I flaked that paint off, and I was left with this coppery, bronzy patina. And as I was doing that, I was thinking, I wonder if I should paint this kind of copper color. So I asked Mark, and he goes, you have to understand, whatever you spray on this, you're going to end up with a solid color. If you like the way this looks, put a clear coat on it and leave it. Otherwise, you're going to have a copper kettle. So I got it done, and I looked at it, and I went for the clear coat. So here is my cauldron. It's big. This is what I mean by the bronzy coppery look. This is what the inside of it looks like too. And yeah. Nice handles on it and everything. But it's deep. And I thought, okay, I have to put something inside of it or my pillows are going to fall down inside of it. And Mark goes, well, I have a piece of foam you can use. His side is full of stuff. Yeah. He's not a hoarder. He's not. I don't think he is. He brought me out a piece of foam. And so I cut a circle, and it's green. I don't want green foam in my kettle. So I made a cover. And all I did is I took my piece of foam and I put it on the piece of paper or a piece of fabric, and I cut it, maybe gave it a 1/2 inch gap, and then I covered the sides. Think sheet. It slips around the side and then it fits in there nice and snug. And I think it looks pretty. And if I'm going to have pillows in here, it has to look pretty. So, the piece that I worked on last week, I mentioned that Donna from Pennsylvania had sent me a pattern. And this is what I stitched. And I had originally said that I was thinking of stitching it on orange fabric, like the pattern suggests. But the other 3 little pillows I have are on that royal blue. And while blue and orange are complementary colors, I have 3 blue pillows and then I would have had 1 orange pillow, and it just wasn't fitting my brain that I wanted it that way, so I stitched it on blue. And I did change it up just a little bit. I didn't like the top of the tree, so I added an extra branch up there. And the moon. All of this on the pattern says to be stitched in black. And I liked that. I thought at first this was supposed to be the moon. It took me a while to realize that no, this was a tree. And then the moon was over here. I'm a moon person. I've always been a moon person. The only tattoo I have is of a moon. I wear moon necklaces. This is my family. Every one of these moons represents somebody in my family. The moon on the pattern drove me nuts because it's not circular. It wasn't circular. I stitched it on here once and I picked it out. And then I tried to freehand it and I picked it out. And finally, after I picked it out that second time, I took the pattern, I walked into the kitchen, I took one of my Coca-Cola glasses off the shelf, put it down on the pattern, took my felt pen and I made a circle and everything. And then I stitched a moon. Because it needed, okay, it's not a complete circle, but this is circular and that fit my, the other moon just wasn't circular. It was driving me crazy. So, see if I can hold this and put my pieces in. So I have the moon piece, which was given to me by Donna. I have Eek, which I had gotten from my sister. I have, Bat Moon. And then I have the Quaker Pumpkin. And there you are, my kettle of pillows. I'm actually kind of happy with that. There was someone else that I watched this week that I would really like to have everyone go check out. I caught her very first video. Her name is, she goes by Mev Stitches in Paris. I think her name is Marie. But I caught her very first video and she had shown 2 pieces that she stitched a while back. One was an Asian woman, one was an African woman. And then I think on her second video, she showed how her aunt helped her to finish off the African lady. It is so cool. Yeah, I mean, it is really, really so cool. Her aunt thought outside of the box and framed this perfectly. She also talks about working with her mom and using a different method of painting fabrics. I don't know a lot about painting fabrics, but her mom has come up with this technique and she played with it too, and she shows a couple of beautiful pieces of fabric that she painted using this technique. And in her last video, she shows how she embroidered a simple design on one of them. Very elegant, simple design. Beautiful. She was working on a Fire Wings dragon. She chose the one called Samurai. I love Fire Wings dragons. I've stitched 3 of them for my son Philip. She used a variegated floss on hers. I did mine monochromatically. And I'm going to try to link my Facebook cross-stitch photo album on the video. And I'm really hoping that somebody will try to go to that link to see if you can actually see my cross-stitch photos from Facebook. I can get into them. You know, that's not a biggie. I want to know if I provide the link, if somebody else can get into them, because I have made that a public folder. But anyway, go look at her video. See how she did her dragon. I think it's beautiful. I love fire wing dragons. And if you can, use my link to go to my Facebook cross-stitch photo album. It's a public folder, so hopefully you'll be able to see it. And then you could go through there, and if you want to, I'm not telling you you have to, but if you want to, and you can see some of the pieces that I've stitched before, and you can see the 3 dragons that I made for my son Philip. Okay. I did get another magical arrival. Besides Betty Boop and Squidly, I got this lovely mermaid card from Abby, Top Knot Stitcher. And Abby, I wish you the best of luck. You know why. So, thank you so much. I like this. A mermaid with her knight down in the bottom of the water, or the bottom of the lake. Not so good for him. And then I want to tell you something that I am all into. This is going to be a little bit weird. I don't know. Coconut oil. 100% pure coconut oil. When I had my first knee surgery, and when I went in to have the staples removed from the incision, not fun. The nurse told me to get some coconut oil and to use it to rub into that scar area, that incision area, to help keep that area soft and to aid with the healing and everything. And it works. It really does work. So when I had my second knee done, I did that automatically and went through a jar of this stuff. You can find it at any grocery store in the cooking section. And it's a solid. Most of the time. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I realized that the skin on the bottom of one of my feet had cracked and was very sore and hurt, you know. I asked my daughter, Erin, she's a nurse, what I should use on it, and she sent me a text back saying something I could get over the counter. In the meantime, I remembered that I had this. So I went and got this, and I use popsicle stick, craft stick, whatever you want to call it. That much. And just put it on the bottom of my foot, rub it in, put my socks on and everything. Within just a couple of days, that crack was healing. And it makes and leaves my feet so nice and smooth that I'm now paying more and more attention to that and giving myself a nice foot massage every morning with my coconut oil to make sure I don't get any more cracks on my feet, and it makes my feet so nice and smooth. So anyway, that's what I'm all into, is I'm using coconut oil. The thing to remember with coconut oil is that it has to stay cool to remain a solid. As soon as I put that little scoop on my foot, it starts melting. Body temperature 98 degrees, right? I had a jar of this upstairs in my dressing room when I was doing my knees, and the room had gotten rather warm and it will liquefy. So keep it cool so that it remains a solid until you need it. Just an idea. And last, but certainly not least, I wanted to pass the stash. And I asked everybody to leave comments of what they've been doing and add like a witch. I'm going to read you some of these in no particular order. I cleaned up my stitchy spot like a witch. I stitched like a witch. I flew my broom out to the mailbox like a witch. I watched 2 horror movies and stitched like a witch. I unjammed my printer like a witch. I had posted the same thing in the group Bewitched Stitches, and between the comments left there and the comments left here, I'm telling you, I got so many giggles and I absolutely love them. Cheryl Brumbaugh, who made coffee and fed her dog like a witch, is the lady that will be receiving these. So Cheryl, leave me your address. Leave me a way to comment or connect with you, and I will get your address and I will get these out into the mail like a witch. Until we meet next time, my friends, thank you so much for coming and visiting me. Thank you for liking me, for subscribing, for commenting. God, I love the comments. Thank you so much. Live long and stitch on, my friends. Bye-bye.